Hey guys, my name is Mason Blomberg and I play the role of David in the new Apple TV Plus series, Jane. It airs April 14th of 2023. Okay, so Jane is a fun and really creative series about three best friends, Jane, Graybeard, and me, who go on these insane missions to help save endangered species around the world. And there's this really cool mix of live action characters and amazing CGI. I just want to tell you guys that the CGI artists did like amazing job. You can't even tell that they're CGI. But yeah, the show is inspired by Dr. Jane Goodall, and every episode there's a new quote which is inspiring our mission, which is telling us what we need to do kind of to like save this animal. It kind of like is like the building block of the show almost. And my audition process for the show was, so there was 3 parts. The first one was a self-tape audition because, you know, COVID times, everything was self-tapes. And then I had another callback self-tape, which I did. And then after that, they asked me to do a Zoom audition, which was really cool. And that's when my agents and managers called me after that. They said, Mason, I'm sorry. I know this isn't the news you were hoping for, but... And they tricked me, and they went, but you booked it! And I was so excited. Well, that is a very interesting question because, first of all, we traveled to tons of amazing places to film, like Costa Rica, Kenya, Alberta, Canada, Toronto, and we also went to Catalina Island, which is kind of where I live almost. And my favorite out of them all was definitely Kenya, Africa, because honestly, that place was so cool. We were lucky enough to get 2 safaris, and we got to see so many animals. We got to see lions, tigers, monkeys, zebras. Oh yeah, monkeys are pesky, but they're adorable. What else did we saw tons of birds. The lions that we saw were actually eating a zebra, which was gross, but it was also kind of cool because you don't get to see lions eating that often, like especially wild animals. And it was really cool to see all of these different ecosystems at work. And for my family members in Toronto, it was just mostly my mom and my baby sister Delilah, who was just a few months old when we started. And every now and then my grandparents would come and switch out with my mom so they could, so my mom could see my brothers and my dad. And in Costa Rica and Alberta, my mom took me, but in Africa, my dad took me. So that was really cool getting to spend all that time with my family, which was family time. I have lots in common with my character, David. Like, one example is we both love food. David's always hungry, so that meant that I got to eat a lot on set, and that doesn't happen that often. And like, for example, once when I was on set, I was eating chips, and the director was like, only eat the chips when it's action time, and they were taking too long to set up once, so I went like this. Action! I mean, somebody said action, you can't blame me. The director never said who had to say it. But anyways, that's one thing, and then we have many others. Like, another one is we're both super funny, and we always love to crack jokes. But David think of them like that. When we're a scary moment, oh my god, that's sharktastic! And then he always ends with an amazing catchphrase. See what I did there? And it just cracks me up every time I read these jokes. And it's like, one more for the storage system. And something else we have in common is we're both super passionate about the environment. Oh, well, that's kind of hard because we were always laughing on set. And it was just so fun, like me and the director and me and Ava and stuff like that. So, yeah. But just one specific example was once we were filming outside, like, right outside of the building, the apartment that we were in, and there was a basketball hoop, and we were filming our scene, and I was supposed to be super scared, and I was running off, and then for the scene, I was supposed to grab a basketball. I was supposed to ask for the basketball that somebody was playing with, and they would pass it to me. I would shoot and miss, and I would just keep running. But instead, when I did it, I was running, I got the ball, I shot, and I actually made it. Like, everybody on set was like, jeez. And I'm not good at basketball. Like, I'm definitely not the best at basketball. And neither is David. I'm pretty sure they were expecting David to miss. But yeah, even after that, I asked, hey, are you going to add this scene? Are you going to keep this take of the scene? And they were like, no, it doesn't fit David's character. But that was really cool. Because like I said, it was a pretty far distance too. Like just under a 3-pointer, I think. And it was so funny. There wasn't really that much hard parts about Jane, but if I had to say, it was probably just like, I'm not saying this is bad, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it was the schedules, because they could get switched around and then things like that, and then one of the worst parts was sometimes after the day is over, once I'd get home, I would barely have time to memorize my scripts for the next day. So it would be like, film my scenes for the day. I go home, it's late at night, I eat dinner, brush my teeth, and I revise my scripts for like just a little bit, and then it's kind of all I have. In the morning on the way to set, though, I can practice a little more. But like I said earlier, the schedules can get switched around. Like, other than that, it was an amazing show to film. Other than that, there wasn't really anything bad. And like I said, that wasn't that bad. Okay, so, well, I knew a lot about the environment before, because like I said, I was always very passionate about saving the environment, but I'm surprised I learned as much as I did from the show. I learned like more than double what I already knew about saving the environment. I learned so much new ways to protect the environment, and there's so much people out there who are helping the environment and trying to inspire other people, like kids, to help and save the environment just like they're doing. Like Jane Goodall. Here's a famous quote that she said, "Only if we understand will we care. Only if we care will we help. Only if we help can they be saved." Because if you think about it, it actually relates. It's because it's true. If you think about it, only if we understand the animals like the show is doing, then we'll start caring for them. We'll feel sympathetic, and we'll decide we just want to help them. And that's kind of where that goes. We care, we want to help. That's when they get saved. And this show is very important because it's helping kids teach the first step, understanding the animals. And it's very important because it's not only doing that, but it's helping teach ways to care for the environment. And not just that, it's helping kids understand the entire world. It's helping kids and families protect the environment. Well, we didn't get to interact with most animals because most of them were CGI'd. And like I said earlier, you can't tell that they're CGI'd. But the Jane Goodall Institute doesn't really believe in people interacting with wild animals, unless they're trained professionals. But the coolest interaction I did get to have was definitely when we visited Africa. We got to see the last 2 northern white rhinos in the world. They're very rare, they're endangered, and they can't make more offspring. But it was so cool, we got to see them, and I was just so sad, though, about how little of these animals aren't there anymore. And that's why we need to work to protect this environment. We need to take action now. Well, something that most people would be surprised to learn about me is I can yo-yo. Like not those yo-yo tricks where you just throw them down, they come back up to you. There's something called an unresponsive yo-yo, and that's where it stays down and it keeps spinning. And you can do so much cool tricks, like an Eli hop where you bounce it up and then it comes back onto your string. And there's also so many more, like the black hop, and there's also the bind, which is the way you get it back up to your hand. And there's so many cool things you can do with yo-yo, and it's just one of my hobbies that I like to learn about. Well, one of them is football. I love football. Like, just last Friday, I got a touchdown. What? We got a touchdown. Anyways, another hobby that I have is CGI because, like I said, for like the millionth time, is the CGI artist on Jane did such an amazing job that they inspired me, like, a lot. So now I want to do it, and I want to learn how to do stuff like them. And I just think it's really cool. Well, Jane is a unique series because there's like a really cool mix of live action characters like me and Jane and some amazing CGI like Graybeard. You know, this guy right here. And lots of the other animals. And I just want to say I'm flabbergasted. The show is amazing. But the people should be tuning in because it's a really fun show if you think about it. Adventures and action and some funny moments. And it's really cool, and people should be tuning in for many reasons like what I said, and also it gives a good message, which is really important to help save the environment. Once again, this is Mason Blomberg, and thank you for these questions.